Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Thank you everyone that submitted questions for my Legend of Korra Q&A this week. Generally, I think we're all hoping that Toph is going to kick some butt next week. Here's some really big announcements before we get started. So, it's rumored that there's going to be a 4-part finale airing December 5th. Normally, that would just be episode 10, but supposedly they might be posting all 4 final episodes. That's 10, 11, 12, and 13, all on that day. Otherwise, they'd have to air the last episode the week of Christmas, and I don't think that they're going to do that. They're also going to start airing Book 4 on Nicktoons, like from episode 1, so it'll be old episodes that they've already posted online. But that's supposed to start at the end of this month, so that just supports the idea that they're going to rush the end of Book 4 online so they can just get through it so they can air it all on television. They will be releasing the Book 3 DVDs sometime soon, at least in the next couple of weeks. I don't know the exact date on that, but it'll be before the end of the year. So if you have Christmas money and you want to buy some Korra stuff, you'll be able to buy the Book 3 DVD. If you do not celebrate Christmas, then just beg your parents for some money. Mike and Brian always have really awesome commentary tracks on the DVDs. They've actually just been recording the Book 4 commentary track. They even just had their wrap party too. They had this really awesome avatar cake. I wonder what that tastes like. But I love the fact that Sifu Kisu cut it with a katana. More awesome stuff next week too. So in addition to the new episode, on Tuesday, part 3 of The Rift will be available. That's the comic book. If you haven't been reading the Avatar comic books, go to your local comic book shop, look for it. It's been published by Nickelodeon, so you can also order it on Amazon.com. Those are the important dates. On to questions. Careful for spoilers if you have not seen this week's episode. Number 1. Shahrazad asks, do you think that Toph will stop Kuvira in time before they completely destroy the tree? Also, now that Kuvira is in control of the Earth Nation, what is the purpose of those guys trying to capture the prince? Okay, so first question, yes, I do think that Toph will get to them before they completely cut down the swamp or even the banyan grove tree. Team Bright just wanted you to have a small heart attack with that final shot from episode 7. Mission accomplished. I think she'll get enough spirit vines to build a weapon because that's like the big tease for the finale is that she's going to have some mega weapon that people will have to deal with. As for her getting rid of the prince, that's more of a symbolic thing. She's the popular leader right now, but the prince is one of the few people who could challenge her, especially if the other bending nations support him. If she gets rid of him in a very public way, it's just one more strike against her opposition. There are a lot of different parts to her conquest. There's the propaganda side, like the public-facing side, and then there's the military side where she marches her troops in and beats the shit out of people. That's why Korra's gonna have to learn how to fight her propaganda. Question number 2. Ooh, this is gonna be a controversial one. That envious demon asks, I don't know why everyone's hating on Korsami. Ridiculous, right? I thought the same thing when everyone was going all shit crazy for Zutara in Last Airbender. So yes, lots of hate for Korsami. Personally, I'm not a huge shipper. I think it's all open to debate. This is the way I think about it. Unless Break says absolutely not, it's still a possibility. Regardless of what your personal feelings are about it, just because things aren't shown on screen doesn't mean they're not there in the subtext. It's like you see a story for the first time that you really enjoy, then you watch it like 5 more times because you love it so much, and by the 5th time, you're starting to pick up different cues from the characters. I think there was a little bit of confusion after my last video because I said something about Viacom never doing Korsami on screen. That's because Viacom is like a very right-wing conservative channel. That in no way reflects my personal beliefs about whether or not that's a good thing to happen. The only thing I really care about is it an interesting story? So if any of the ship stories that aren't technically canon were told in really interesting ways, I would totally enjoy those. That being said, usually I'm more focused on what the actual plot is. It's after the 2nd or 3rd viewing that I'm really thinking more about the subtext. Although I do pick those cues up. It is a lot of fun. It's like a fun game to play while you're watching. I think the reason that some people get really upset about stuff like this is because when they really identify with a character and you call that relationship into question or that character, it feels like to them like you're attacking their sense of self, even though that's not what's actually happening. So just remember, Korsami is not an attack on your identity. It's all in good fun. It's all about having a good time. Controversy averted. So question number 3, Akira asks, am I the only one who saw Wu flirting with the princess of the Southern Water Tribe? I assume you're talking about Korra. So yeah, I think that Wu is just gonna flirt with anything that moves. I realize we were just talking about Korsami, so I don't want to call Wu's sexuality into question. I think that he is just a total tomcat. He's the guy that goes from party to party to party, which just sounds exhausting. He was the pressure release valve for that reunion though. That was his only purpose for being there. It was just to deflect attention from the fact that there was so much going on between Korra and Mako, Korra and Asami, between all 3 of them at the same time. I think if Wu had not been there, it would have been a lot more uncomfortable. Question number 4, Chase Collins asks, do you think that Korra is a fully realized avatar? And do you think that Zuko and Azula rekindled their relationship given that he named his daughter Azumi after her? So Korra, no, I don't think that she's a fully realized avatar yet. I think that's what she's going to get to by the finale if she doesn't die. I don't think she's going to die, just to say that. As for Zuko and Azula, it's really hard to tell. I'm not expecting to see Azula anymore at this point. I think she might get referenced, like Zuko might say, my sister. But if we haven't seen her by now, then I don't see any reason to bring her on. I know there are so many Last Airbender questions that people have. I feel like a lot of those are going to get answered in the comics. Bryke said that they totally loved bringing those people on Legend of Korra, like they were waiting to bring Toph on for a long time. Because episodes are so short, and this is really Korra's story, they need to focus on the Legend of Korra characters, like that generation, not the old generation. So Bryke is not trying to be mean by not answering those questions or bringing those characters on. It's just that the story they're telling doesn't necessarily need those characters. Question number 5, Mikhail asks, do you think that Sue and Lin are angry at Toph because she vanished? Oh man, well you've heard about daddy issues. They're probably totally having some mommy issues. I know everyone's wondering if Toph is going to reunite with them. I feel like they will have a moment, like a family moment. There are a lot of theories about Toph maybe dying in the next episode. There were so many parallels between her and Yoda in Empire Strikes Back, like Korra in the swamp doing the Luke Skywalker training. Thematically, she would have to vaporize into spirit dust next. Maybe have some tea with Iroh. She could end up in the spirit world as a spirit, just like Iroh. So just remember, do not freak out. Even if she dies, that doesn't mean that she's going to leave the show and they won't have a family reunion. Question number 6. The Yellow M-Tube asks, why is Prince Wu a douchebag? I mean, yeah, he's spoiled and hits on women very poorly. Yeah, he has absolutely no game. I think he's just raised to think a certain way and he feels like he has to act that way. Like he thinks that's what a prince is supposed to act like. In the clip for next week, like the teaser for next week, you see Mako trying to train with him a little bit. I think part of his arc in the last couple of episodes will be learning to be a normal person and not be such a douchebag. That's why I feel like they're setting it up for him to become a leader of the Earth Nation. Like they're trying to make him a more rounded character as we get towards the last episode. I am a little bit worried that Mako could get stuck with him for the rest of his life. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I do think that they're going to be buddies. Like Mako will soften on him just a little bit. Wu will get better, Mako will soften up a little bit. Like they'll both close that gap. Just in general, plan on Wu being less of a douchebag by the finale. Question 7, Miga asks, Dear Charlie, I have a few questions. Yes, you do. Why don't you ever answer personal questions or my personal questions? Oh, you have a lot of personal questions. Do you think that Zuko's daughter will be a pushover like Prince Wu? And number 4, I'm glad we're away from all the stupid teen romance, but I'm a tad curious who Mako will end up marrying at the end of the season. Okay, so that was a little confusing. I'll try to answer all those questions. Okay, so question number 1, personal questions. Sorry, I get like 4,000 questions a day, so I typically scan for questions about episodes, less about personal questions. If I do a personal Q&A, I'll totally answer more personal questions. Question number 3, so Zuko's daughter. I don't think the Fire Nation is going to change in any significant way. I think it's the Earth Kingdom that's going to be the one to change. As for people getting married at the end, I don't feel like it's headed in that direction. Like they're trying to say that Korra does not need a man to complete herself. I feel like everyone is going to be screaming if they don't get like that Harry Potter type end credits scene where it shows the characters in the far future. That's not going to happen. I totally do not think Bryke is going to do that. You'll just have to write your own Tumblr fanfiction to complete that story. Question number 8, Alexis Jones asks, what is your favorite ship this season? It was totally unexpected, but I'm guessing Bolin and Varrick. It's just the most hilarious thing. And when I say my favorite ship, I think of ships the way I think of like a funny cat or dog picture. I don't take it super seriously. Like it's not necessarily an outcome that I want to see play out on screen. Like I said earlier, ships are a whole lot of fun. I typically, the first time I watch something, I tend to be more focused on like what the actual plot is. So I will laugh at Bolin and Varrick, but I never believe for a minute that they're going to become some sort of couple. Question number 9, Zarok asks, do you think that Bolin's hero moment shows that he may step up to be the new leader of the Earth Nation? No, I think that that's going to be Wu. I think that Bolin will be more of a leader in later life if he doesn't become a mover star. So far, the biggest criticism against his character I've seen this season is how dumb that he's been, like, how he did not see what Kuvira was really doing. If Bolin decided to become more of a leader, I think he would start a lava bending academy. Like he would try to find more lava benders. Question number 10, Jasmine asks, as Book 4 airs, I have the same question every episode. Am I the only one who's noticing Korra's loss of muscle mass? No, you're not imagining it. It's just a visible sign of Korra's decreased reliance on physical strength, more reliance on spiritual strength. Remember all the way back to Book 1, Korra's a waterbender, from the Water Tribe obviously, but she favors firebending style. just because of its aggressive nature. She was always the gung-ho avatar, so she always relied on her physical strength to solve problems. Book 4 is all about her learning to not do that. She's taking a Zen route, which means more spiritual energy, more energy bending. Like the plant, seeing through the plants, that's more of an energy bending substyle, although it's not technically a substyle. So that's why Korra looks smaller, like her character model is smaller, less muscular. Thank you so much though, everyone, for submitting questions. These are always a ton of fun to do. Remember, Tuesday, part 3 of the Rifts coming out. Congratulations to this week's giveaway winner. Kayance, you win the Amazon gift card. Just be sure to message me on YouTube for details. Next week's episode, number 8, is called Remembrance. I'll post my video right after it airs. Be sure to subscribe to get that. I'll try to find some more details about the 4-part finale. That's still a rumor right now. I haven't seen any official confirmation from Nickelodeon that they're doing that, but I do think that they'll at least pair some of the final episodes together. In the meantime, you can click here for my episode 7 video, and you can click here for my episode 6 video. Thank you so much for watching, so let's all high five. I'll see you guys tonight.